Sweet peas are pretty much universally loved. They produce lashings of flowers, many of which have a deliciously sweet perfume. But those flowers are really excellent for cutting. You can buy them as seedlings in the spring. However, they're very, very easy to grow from seed as well. And today that's what I'm going to show you. I am going to use these root trainers. Now, sweet peas have nice deep roots, and so these root trainers are absolutely ideal. And this ridged surface that they've got means that when the roots spread out, they hit the sides and they'll grow straight down. So absolutely ideal for your sweet peas. And I'm just going to poke a couple of holes in. You want to sow the seeds about 1 centimetre deep, and I'm doing 2 seeds per tray. So all my seeds are in. I'm just going to cover them up, firm them down a little bit, and these are then going to get labelled, so I want to remember what I've sown. And they're going to get a really good drink, and they're going to be kept in a polytunnel for about, usually you start to see the first signs of life within about 2 to 3 weeks. So that's the first start of the journey for these, and I will be back in a few weeks to show you the next bit. So it's now mid-April, and here are the sweet peas I sowed from seed earlier in the year, about 6 weeks or so ago. Now, as you can see, these root trainers work an absolute treat, and the plants are lovely, well rooted, so these are now ready to be either planted up outside or potted on, which is what I'm going to do here. I've chosen a nice big pot, and I've also used one of our cane plant supports, which just helps you form this really nice teepee effect of bamboo canes. I've just tied that top there with string, and they like a really, sweet peas like a really rich soil. So if you're planting outside in the border, you want to dig in as much composted organic matter as you possibly can. They're very heavy feeders. I'm using a really good quality, freely draining potting mix here, and I will be feeding them though throughout the season. So when your seedlings get to this stage, an important step is to do some pinching out. Now, pinching out basically just means nipping off the central growing tip. And what that encourages is lateral growth, which produces a stronger, more vigorous, bushier plant. So just take them out of their root trainers. And keep in mind that I want to allow about 2 plants per cane. And as I sowed 2 seeds per drill in my root trainers, that works out absolutely perfectly. So I'm just going to dig down, create a little pocket, and just firm them in gently. So there we are, they're all planted. Now, what I am going to do is give them a really good soak, and then I'm going to take them out to a sheltered spot in the garden. And shelter's sort of important at this stage. These are hardy annuals, however, they have been growing under glass. So for the first few nights or for a week or so, I'm just going to gradually harden them off. I'm keeping an eye on the temperatures. So it's now early June, and as you can see, my sweet peas have really settled in. I've been keeping them somewhere sunny, I've been watering them like mad, and I've also been feeding with a general purpose fertiliser. I use Miracle Grow. I can mix it with water and just water it in, it's really easy. Now, as you can see, these plants, they do produce these tendrils which will attach themselves to the canes. However, initially they just need a little bit of help, and I find these rings, wire rings, are absolutely perfect for that, because they just ping open. You just stretch them open, you tie them around the cane and the stem of the plant, and then squeeze them shut. And that's my job for today. So as you can see, my sweet peas are starting to flower now. So what I've got to do is make sure that they're kept well fed and well watered, but most importantly, I've got to keep on picking them. And that's because you don't want any of these little seed pods to start developing. So really, effectively, those should be just snipped off and discarded. But before it gets to that stage, you can just pick them, and picking them will just encourage more and more flowers to appear, and they smell delicious in the vase. And I'm currently supplying the office with vase full for their desks at the moment, and it's making me really popular.